Okay, welcome back. So at this point, you should have already picked a design site, conducted an interview if necessary for your design, and started to brainstorm what it is that you want. Not only in the landscape, but as far as your quality of life. What do you want to spend your time doing? What do you value? What do you not want to give up, right? So we should have synthesized all that information into an overall mission and quality of life statement that really sums up our values and goals, right? And we should have grounded that in a vision statement that really resonates with us. So the process might have been exciting or it might have been grueling. Usually it's exciting, right? You're really starting to hash out what it is that you can manifest, and that's exciting. But sometimes it can also be grueling to do that work and to really dig deep like that. But either way, you've gotten it done. So congratulations. And doing this work ahead of time really sets you up for success later. So it's good to go through this process. So clear intentions equals a clear direction as we move forward with this design project and any other design project that we take on. Now we know what we want and why. So the next piece is how and when, and that's going to be our list of objectives. They're going to say how and when, right? So we're gonna do these objectives because they really help ground that vision in reality. It's like we're taking this kind of ideal fantasy of what we want to do and really bringing it down to realistic, achievable outcomes. So we want to do these objectives. And they might exemplify some behaviors that we need to adopt, systems that we need to have in place, or maybe a certain level of production that's needed to support those values and goals. All right. Later on, these objectives can act as benchmarks to kind of gauge our success and are we moving along in the time that we thought we would. Right. We're going to be using the SMART acronym, you might be familiar with it, to create these objectives. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, big one there, and time-bound. Okay? Now, while I say specific, I don't want you to get into the nitty-gritty details. So let's say, for example, you wanted fruit trees, right? That was part of the list of wants. You like to eat fruit and you want to have fruit, or you want to sell some fruit, whatever it is. So you say, in your vision, there's fruit dripping from the trees on my homestead. So the piece about the outcomes would be more like, I would like 10 to 15 fruit trees planted in the first year, right? They take a fair amount of time to start bearing fruit, so I'd like to get them in the ground as soon as possible. So that's kind of a priority, right? So even though we're saying I'd like 10 to 15 fruit trees planted in the first year, we're not going into, I want 4 pears, 2 apples, I want these cultivars, I want them on this rootstock, I want to plant them at this spacing. My management practice is this. They're in a guild with comfrey nettles, blackberries, and sweet potato vines, whatever. So we're not going to get into that nitty-gritty detail. We're gonna do that during the creative design phase after we've analyzed some more information. But just to get us started and to really get an idea of what our priorities are or your client's priorities are, let's write out a list of objectives, that are realistic, that could be done in a certain time frame. And we'll leave the specifics to figure out later. Okay? So I think that's a good starting point. I want you to go ahead and write a list of objectives in the worksheet section of the material, and you can go ahead and read the written material first. There's a lot more details about how to do this and some examples as well. And I'll see you when you're finished, and we'll move on with goals part 3. Thank you.